Breaking news. Ocean City, Maryland. If you're going to the Boardwalk Rock Fest with Def Leppard, Alice in Chains, Shinedown, Nickelback, Alice Cooper, etc., you can see me and Chris Kael from Five Finger Death Punch doing stand-up comedy the night before the festival on the Friday night in Ocean City, Maryland. All the details are at getgas.com. Getgas.com. Come see some comedy. It's fun. Right, Chris? All right. He'll have fun. Just come to the shows if you like to laugh. It's music. It's comedy. It's fun. All right. Beardo and Weirdo. We are back in the studio. And our last episode was a doozy. We were getting ready to have Brian Slagle in the studio, and then all of a sudden the door opens up and we both go, Kerry King. And he goes, "What's up, dude?" And I was like, what? Brian told me you had a thing going on. I wanted to come hang out. And I was like, that is such a Kerry King thing that I know he is. I'm so intimidated by him, as
you don't say.
We both were. Everybody's intimidated by Kerry King from Slayer. You and I are both intimidated, but I actually have a friendship with the guy. I've had dinner with him. His wife is amazing. She's one of the liveliest, funniest people I've ever met in my life. And Kerry, stoic, but nice. And is always like, why don't you come hang out, man?
Oh, yeah.
Come. And I'm like, all right, if you want me to hang out. So he comes in and he's Kerry in the studio. He's quiet. He's stoic. And I realize, all right, this is, I'm just going to share some stories and bring back some memories with the guy. But it blew my mind. I don't know if this gets picked up on camera at all, but I was sitting there going, so you, and you were sitting to my left. So I was like, Chris, you want to?
I was like, Mr. King, have the floor, sir.
All I saw, every time I looked at you, all I saw was like,
yep. Total fly on the wall.
Yeah.
I like this. I remember thinking, I'm not the coolest person in the room anymore. This is incredible.
That was so out of left field.
Yeah.
So
and very out of character for me. I wouldn't say I was starstruck. It was more of a respect, just kind of like allowing the stories, because you guys have had a wonderful friendship for many years.
Yeah.
And I was just kind of like, okay, I don't want to talk too much. I'll just sit back and speak when necessary rather than interjecting myself just to be heard.
Now, I got to say, when I say a wonderful friendship, I mean, it's just been kind of loose over the years. We don't hang out on a regular basis, but he's always nice to me. And then the story I told about Kerry, about how my ex, I don't know where that relationship is right now, I'm working on it. She met Kerry for the first time backstage at the Scorpion show. We were in Skid Row's dressing room, and Kerry kept saying like, well, you should call me. I didn't know you're in New York. Give me a call, man. And I'm like, oh, yeah, all right. And then my ex was like, Kerry likes you. And I go, babe, he's in Slayer. He doesn't have any feelings. And she was like, no, he likes you. He really likes you. And I was like, yeah. And then, but there are other people that would tell me that. People who worked with Slayer would be like, man, you should come backstage. Kerry really likes you and he thinks you're funny. And I would be like, really? And I was like, man, that is so cool. Because when I'd hang out with him, I would just be me. But he was very reserved and very stoic. And again, dude, as a comedian, I cannot tell you what it is a grand slam home run, bottom of the ninth, when you can get Kerry King just go. Like that is massive, a massive reaction. And I've had that in my life where people who are very reserved or people who are known to be grumpy will say like, I like Craig. And I like for some reason, when I was living in Seattle, Randy Johnson was the pitcher for the Seattle Mariners. And he was known, and I'm not saying anything out of school here. This was written about in many articles by his teammates who would say, when it was Randy's day to pitch, if he was in a real shitty mood and they'd go, hey, Randy, and he was just like really shitty, they'd be like, this is going to be a good one. Because he would be hyper-focused and he would like stare down people. He would like strike you out and then like watch you walk back to the
so driven and so focused. The man killed a bird with a pitch. That's incredible footage. Roll that, Matt.
Can we pull that, Matt? Look up Randy Johnson killing a bird, and then we'll get to that. But Randy, a guy from the local NBC station, once told me, because he knew that Randy was liked my comedy. This is back when I was still living in Seattle. It's a long story, but George Carlin sent me a couple copies of his book, brain droppings and said, can you give one to Randy Johnson? Because Randy, I met him on a flight and he was really nice. Oh, dude, I forgot.
First of all, can you imagine being Randy Johnson on a flight? That dude is tall.
He's 6'10".
As the trouble that I have with my knees hitting chairs, I can only begin to imagine how difficult it would be for Randy Johnson flying commercial. That would be incredible.
Randy Johnson is 6'10", and George ended up sitting next to him on a flight once. And when I told George that Randy had I met him backstage at a Kiss concert, and he knew who I was, and then he gave me some contact information, and I said, yeah, I'm going to see him pitch in a week or so. And he said, hey, let me give you a copy of my book to give to him. And he said, I met that guy in a flight. Yeah, he was really nice. Ugly as sin, but I really like really nice. And I got so nervous when I met Randy after the game that I actually quoted George in full when I said that, and he went, what? And I go, yeah, he said you're ugly as
I didn't say it, it was him.
Anyways, can we get a picture? Yeah. Oh my God. But a reporter for the NBC affiliate in Seattle, King 5 News, told me, he said, you know that me and a friend of mine have a trick that we use with Randy to get him in a good mood that involves you. And I said, what's that? And he said, because, Randy's not, like, of all the players, he has always been the toughest to talk to. He does not like talking to the press. And what I've started doing is when he's in a really bad mood, I go, hey, I saw Craig Gass do a show a couple nights ago. And Randy will go, oh yeah, how was he? And I'll go, oh man, he does this new bit where he's got this new impression. And then Randy will be like, oh, cool. Mm-hmm. Oh man. Yeah. Did you ever hear him do a Gene Simmons? And he said,
quoting your stuff, nice.
He goes, and then I'll go, and hey, real quick, Randy, what do you think about that last pitch of the game? And he goes, it works.
Nice.
And I was like, no way.
Yeah.
Because Randy could destroy you, like with this pitch right here that he is famous for. Randy Johnson in a spring training game actually murdered nature. Roll it. Boom! Oh! And then it goes in slow motion. Ba, 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 ba.
The timing on this. That was not that bird's day. End of life.
Slayer! Yeah.
That bird just got death pitched. I'll be here all week, people.
We're going to be in Ocean City, Maryland. Come see us perform together.
Yep. So speaking of Randy Johnson, I believe he lives down in Phoenix or near Phoenix somewhere now.
He does.
It's crazy seeing him because he takes photos at the shows in the pit.
Yep.
And he doesn't need, nobody's getting in his way. You just see him way out there.
6'10". Yep.
Yeah. All way above everybody else.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. Very big figure.
As a Seattle Mariners fan, I did a show in Phoenix, Celebrity Theater, which was really personal to me because the Celebrity Theater is where I saw my first ever stand-up comedy show. I watched George Carlin. Ooh. Back when I was a kid. I was 15 years old. I watched George Carlin perform at the Celebrity Theater, and now I'm performing at the Celebrity Theater, and someone took a picture of Randy taking pictures of me, and he has a big smile on his face. Nice. And oh man, that made me so emotional to see that.
Yeah.
And he's, by the way, we're talking about Slayer. We're talking about people who are not easy to talk to.
Reserved people. I had a moment at a Slayer concert. I don't think I've ever told you. Mm-hmm. When I first started becoming friends with Kerry, I hit him up. I was in Los Angeles. I think I was living in LA at the time. And Slayer was going to perform with Anthrax in Long Beach. Oh, no, it was Slayer Megadeth. That's right. Slayer Megadeth in Long Beach. And I asked Kerry, hey, man, can I come to the show? And is it okay to say hi? And when I think when anyone says, is it okay to say hi, what are they really saying? Would you say, Chris? Can I come backstage?
Yes. Can I come backstage? You saw the patheticness of it. So I'm saying, hey, is it okay to say hello before the show or after the show?
Hey, man, am I getting passes too with those tickets?
Yeah. So, and he's like, yeah, your name's going to be at the box office. So I go to the box office. I show him my license, and they hand me tickets and backstage passes. And it's my first time going backstage to a Slayer show. And I'm like, oh my God, I want to see what devil worshipers are doing backstage. We got to go straight backstage and go right into the whatever the sacrifice is for tonight. Mm-hmm. And we go backstage, and it's just a bunch of trucks.
There we go.
It's a bunch of trucks, and I should also add equipment. There's no sacrifices going on. So
you got to get to the inner circle for that.
Well, as I'm walking backstage, a guy stops me and says, "Hey, Craig, are you Craig, comedian?" And I go, "Yes." And he goes, "Hey, I just want to say hi. My name's Kenny. I'm just a big fan." And I go, "Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, Kenny." And I went, "Are you Kenny G?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "What the fuck are you doing at a Slayer concert?" He goes, my kid's a big metalhead. And,
nice.
And I go, "No shit." And right at that moment, a Slayer fan pounced on Kenny G. and was like, "Dude, I fucking love Kenny G. What's up, fucking?" You know, he was like, "I can't, dude. I fucking." Oh, that sounds like it sounds like I'm up a character. "Ooh, Cookie, Kenny G, good. I like Cookie. I want to take Kenny G, put my dick in the flute, and Kenny G fucking Satan." All right, whatever. So,
and demonetized.
Yeah. Well, so while Kenny G is talking to the Cookie Monster, I look over at my friend and I go, "Dude, just." I hand him my camera phone. I go, "Take a picture, make it casual, like make it casual, like." And I go, just wait. And I wait for him to get done with the Cookie Monster. And I go, "Hey, Kenny, hey man, so you were," and I'm just kind of talking to him, just and looking at my friend. And this is what I see with my friend. He's got my camera phone. And he goes, "What do I?" What? And I'm like,
that guy.
Dude, I'm talking to Kenny G when Dave Mustaine from Megadeth walks behind us with a group of people, and I hear Dave Mustaine go, "Are you guys leaving? All right. You want to say a prayer?
Oh,
come on, let's do it." And they formed a Megadeth prayer behind me and Kenny G. And I'm looking at my friend going, "Take the fucking picture." Yeah. And he got it. And this is it. It's me backstage at a Slayer Megadeth concert talking to Kenny G while Megadeth is in a prayer circle behind us. That'll never happen again in human history, Chris.
Now, with that hat on, did you just get done painting houses and went straight to the Slayer Megadeth show?
My ex liked the hat. He made me wear the hat. I wanted to make her happy.
Yep.
But yes,
you're a good guy.
Right, you can make fun of that if you want. You can. I can take it. Might hurt.
Are those sideburns too?
Oh, but
nice.
Listen, so this then 2 years later, I have one of the most horrifying experiences in my life, which is I'm on a flight from Fort Lauderdale to LAX. It's direct. Kenny G gets on the flight. He sits 2 rows in front of me, and I'm like, "Oh shit!" And then when he gets on the flight and he's putting his bags up, I'm like, he doesn't notice me, and I'm like, "All right, I'm not going to get up and be like, 'Hey, Kenny, what's up?' I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait till the flight ends."
There we go.
And then
I was like, not immediately, not going to, but I know it's coming.
Right. Well, we land in Los Angeles. We get to the gate. He gets his bags first, and then a couple rows of people. Then I get my bags. I go down to baggage claim, and there he is in baggage claim. Holy shit, Chris! I don't think I've ever told you this story before. Mm-hmm. I walk up to Kenny, and this is like the funny picture I took right before something horrifying happened. So I go, "Kenny, Craig Gass, comedian," and he goes, "Hey," and he's super sweet, super nice. He goes, "Hey, Craig, what are you doing?" I go, "I was on your flight." He goes, "Oh, really?" And I go, "Yeah, I didn't want to bother you at all, man, but how you been? How's life treating you?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm doing good. And I go, "Hey, we should take a picture. You know, like it blew my mind that you're a metal fan." And he goes, "Oh, well, my kid took guitar lessons from the guy from Megadeth." And I was like, "Is that right? I didn't know that." So we go to take the picture, and then another guy walks up and he goes, "Oh, hey, this is Craig. Craig, this is my new drummer. Craig's a stand-up comedian. He does voices on Howard Stern and all these cartoons." And they're like, "Oh." And Kenny goes, "Hey, I'm going to be right back. You guys talk. I'm going to get some luggage carts." And I was like, "All right, I'll talk to you in a minute, Kenny." I look at the drummer and I go, "So you're the new drummer?" And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "How bad did the old guy fuck up that you got the gig?" And he goes, and his face.
Oh, I know what's coming.
His face sank and he goes, "What?" And I go, like, I already recognize this is a bad question, but for some reason I doubled down and said, "How big of an idiot was the last guy?"
Yep.
"That you are now the drummer. What's the story with that dumb shit?" And he goes, "He died."
There it is.
And I went,
"Yep."
And
ladies and gentlemen, Craig Gass.
His lip was quivering as he said it.
Whoosh.
And I I had another flight going out of LAX in 2 days. Walked to the exit, went to my car and just left. I just got my luggage 2 days later. I didn't even want to stick around for Kenny G finding out that I had just been the most insensitive bitch ever at baggage claim. So I just left.
But you got that picture though. Look at you all. Look how happy you are right there.
Yeah, man. I always wearing Seattle stuff gear. And I'm not from Seattle. People think I'm from Seattle. I'm actually from New York, but my career started in Seattle. So I've always been a Seattle sports fan.
Where you living now?
Here in Vegas, technically.
Yep. I love this about you, that you are technically homeless. I love that. I'm
homeless right now. Yeah. I'm homeless right now. And when I moved out of my last place, I knew I was going to be on the road for 4 months. And I was like, why would I pay a couple grand a month for, like, I'm only going to be in Vegas for a few days a month.
Oh, yeah.
I'll just get a hotel room.
And you know everybody. So I'm sure that room is fully comped everywhere you go.
I get discounted rates. If I'm performing at Jimmy Kimmel's, they take care of the room when I'm at Jimmy Kimmel's because I have a residency at Jimmy Kimmel's. Oh, by the way, let's talk about Jimmy Kimmel's.
Yes.
Holy shit. Last weekend was another weekend of my residency. I have more shows coming up in July and November at Jimmy Kimmel's Comedy Club here in Vegas this year. And Chris did some sets. He did sets on Friday and then decided to come back on Saturday too.
Did I tell you why I decided to do the shows on Saturday?
Why did you decide?
There was a fan named Jeanette Billingsley, and I saw that she had posted something about being excited about being there on Saturday.
Okay.
I was already planning on either going to see Seven Dust or AC/DC that night. Brad Williams was also in town that same night.
Oh, shit.
So I had a couple of different things. I was like, I'll do it on Friday and then like get into something else on Saturday. And then the night, I can't remember if it was the night of the Friday show, but I saw where she had her pet had died. And I knew she was coming to the show on Saturday. So because she was coming to that show, I decided I'm going to go there, surprise her, and do the set. Yeah, so her and a friend of hers, I don't know if it's daughter maybe, I'm not sure. But they showed up and they were right there in the front row. And I told her after the show, I was like, you are the reason that I'm doing this show tonight.
No shit.
Absolutely, yeah.
She's a Five Finger Death Punch fan.
Yes.
And you just happened to see on her Instagram that she was going to go to Jimmy Kimmel's.
Yep. I think she tagged me in the post and it came up on the notifications when I was looking and I saw that. And then just somehow the post about her dog passing away came up as well. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to get out of myself and I'm going to go make sure I do this show. And thank God I did, because that 10 o'clock show, woo!
Chris had a comedian experience.
It was incredible.
His comedian experience, which is you'll do a run of shows at a club. You'll do 4 to 6 shows. And one show just won't click.
Yeah.
And it's usually, for some reason, traditionally, it's the Friday night late show. The late show on Friday always has a weird negative energy to it, or a drunk. Like, people who want to stay out late on Friday tend to be really fucked up. They tend to lean more towards being more fucked up. Whereas late Saturday is date night. This is our night to hang. Let's get all the friends together.
I think these people were just coming back from a funeral.
Yeah, the late night Saturday show is the one that caught everybody.
Oh, yeah. Andrew was on. Andrew Rivers opened up the show and was essentially hosting and did his set. And I'm just listening in the back. He's got a couple of absolute gems.
Dude, I want to tell my favorite Andrew Rivers joke.
Should we though?
Man,
because it's so good. I want people go see Andrew Rivers because he has a joke. His father, Bob Rivers, just passed away a couple months ago.
Bob Rivers gave me my first break in radio. Coincidentally, I had just moved to Seattle, and on the way into Seattle, I can almost tell you the date. It was June 26th of 1993.
Look at you all, Rudy Sarzo over there.
I know.
Nice.
I was driving into Seattle when I heard this crazy song parody, and I was like, what is that? And I just heard this. And I was like, oh, dude, I know that song. Turn that up. And then the lyrics kicked in, and the lyrics were, inflatable woman, I can always get laid, hey. And I was like, what the? And all of us in this U-Haul truck were like, the fuck? And at the end of it was this little stinger. That was a Bob Rivers twisted tune here on KISW. And I was like, all right, make a note of that. I want to listen to that station.
And back when I was in college radio at WRFL in Lexington, Kentucky, he had put out a parody for the Christmas time. It was called I Am Santa Claus.
Yep.
Taken off of Iron Man. It was amazing. So, yeah, both of us have a long history of listening to Bob Rivers. Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah, Bob Rivers gave me my first break, and his kid started doing comedy 15 years ago. Man, I admire his hustle. This dude, I'll just be in random parts of the country. I'll be in Indianapolis, and he'll be like, hey, I just happened to be driving through. Can I do a set? And I'll be like, are you serious?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm sleeping on a friend's couch. I'm looking for stage time. And I'm like, oh, man, I relate to that so much. And he's just gotten better and better. And his dad's been sick for a couple of years. He's been fighting cancer, and then he passed a month ago. And then Andrew's got all this material about being at his dad's deathbed.
Yeah. It's wonderful watching that and knowing him, being familiar with his dad and seeing him work through the trauma, using his comedy to lighten his spirits and to find little gems of laughter throughout that last time on there. I've got one about my mom that I'm gonna have to work into the set at some point as well.
Dude, you should.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah, man, that's where all that. There was a lot of stuff with my mom passing that she gave me a lot of material because she was. She gave me material. Then after she passed, there was a weird thing that happened where a relative of mine left just a comment that I just felt like was unreasonably short.
Yeah.
And I got mad at him for that. And then I started, there was a couple layers of stories that you get out of it. And it's really cathartic to get on stage and start talking about.
Actually, I heard you doing some of that stuff the last time we did Jimmy Kimmel's, but I didn't hear any of that stuff this go around. Did that end up in your special that you did just recently?
Yes.
Okay, there we go.
So there's 2 specials coming out. The Kiss comedy special is coming out in the next few weeks. And then that comedy special will come out later this year. But I did start talking about the breakup I'm going through, and I started talking about how I need therapy and I need help. And that's been but it was cathartic, but it was weird, No
one else knew that about you, Craig. No one else anticipated you needing therapy. I mean, I've been going for years, so who am I to talk?
Well, yeah, there's specific things that have been coming up that she said, well, so yeah, we're going to work together. I'm going to work on my own. And
speaking of which, have we spoken about your second chance? I mean, I don't want to call it second chance. I don't know exactly what it is, but have we talked about that, or are we going to talk about that?
Well, I talked about how I talked to her and she took 15 minutes trying to explain to me that I was the one who actually broke up with her.
Oh, yeah.
Which blew my mind because I thought, and I told you, and we called the episode, Craig's girlfriend dumps him.
I spoke about that during my therapy session today, actually.
About how I saw it the wrong way?
How, like, when you were telling me that she was like, are you not going to try to stop me? And I was like, this manipulative bitch fucking in there doing this, fucking, she just breaks up with him, and now all of a sudden she wants him to try to stop her. Little did I know, she was like, you actually broke up with her.
Yeah.
And then it's completely my own experience with my breakup that I was transferring over to her.
Well, the breakdown was hurtful. And my response was, okay, so you're leaving, right?
Yep.
And I shut down on her, which was even more painful.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
Remember me not answering the phone, people?
Oh, yeah.
It's a callback, yeah.
Yeah, man. Chris shut down on me. Fucking asshole.
Yep, I am.
And I just shut down. I was hurt by what she was saying to me, and I shut down because in my mind it's like, okay, then you want to leave. And then
she was just trying to help you, pointing shit out.
Yeah. And then she went home, and the next day she said, so I think we should do therapy. And I said, why would you want to do therapy with...
Continue shutting her down. I love it.
Yeah.
Self-sabotage. We are so good at that. She's trying to help, and you're like, no, you don't want me. I hear it.
And then the moment that I completely blacked out of my mind is she said, so do you want to break up then? And we went back and forth and back and forth. And she said, Craig, I'm saying we should get help. Do you want to break up? And I said, of course, you want to break up. It's like, do you want to break up? I'm telling you, it's ever since that day, my whole everything.
I get it.
I went from thinking I was the Brad Pitt character in this movie to realizing I've been Ed Norton punching myself in the face.
Can we get a close up on his face when he says Brad Pitt character, please?
And
he's not that far off. Can we compare and contrast right next to each other?
Fucking Matthew's already smiling at us. What an asshole. He's gonna get the best Brad Pitt photo.
Much like being able to get Kerry King to laugh. Same right there.
And then he'll Photoshop the Ed Norton one with some dicks on his face. And stuff, and then like, this is more what you look like, Craig. But it was a really tough revelation. There's things I can't control right now that are frustrating. Like all of her friends hate me. Because of, they're all protective of her.
Well, of course, yeah.
She's telling everybody, I don't know why he's saying that I broke up with him. He broke up with me.
Right.
Fuck that guy. And I genuinely didn't see my part in what was going on here. And I love her. And I genuinely want to have a healthy relationship with her. And there's one friend of hers who's saying, yeah, but look what he's doing. Look at what he's doing. Don't forget what he said. Don't pay attention to what he said. Look at what he's doing. And he's doing everything he can to fix this.
Absolutely.
So,
yep. So, somebody else, friends with somebody else, go review all this stuff that we've been talking about. Maybe some reconciliation can happen there, if just on a friendship level. That it kills me, but that's just gone. I feel that it's harder to lose people in a breakup than it is death. Because death, there's no chance of anything after that.
Right. You can't accept that they're still here.
It is so damn hard. Yeah.
Dude.
It's painful. Yeah. Knowing that it's still out there and it's just like, the paths have separated. And you don't want to step on the other person's path because, they made that decision. You're like, okay, cool. It's out of my hands off the wheel. Whatever happens, happens. So I'm going to put my hands back on the wheel. I know y'all watching. I know y'all chirping. Yep. I seen it on the Instagram.
Yeah, it was, that's something I actually said in a previous relationship. With someone who I was dating for a long time. I said, man.
What was his name? Too easy.
I told her
I
told her that it feels like you've died. And she's like, I'm still here. And I go, yeah, but a big part of you died.
Oh yeah.
And that's tough. And then even weirder, even as I say that, I realize that's probably how she feels about me, that because I was in that room with her in Hawaii and not responding to her. She was like saying, look, I need something from you. I need, and it just, what she needed just happened to be a list. And I was like, Jesus.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
Yeah. I have seen the process in you too. Being aware, it's wonderful, even in a breakup, to have that light shined on you, to see the things that you need to correct. And not because one other person tells you, because that could be their opinion. But when it hits you right in the chest, you're like, whoa, I do that. And you're completely unaware until your loved one tells you that. And then you're like, okay, now at that point, you have the choice. You can keep on doing the same crap, or you can change it. And I have seen in both of us, since the breakups, the path to do better, to be better, to become better. And that's part of this whole this podcast. It's what makes this special, is seeing real life happen to recovering addicts, the evaluation of our own behaviors, self-responsibility, which we never had back when we were drinking and doing drugs. Mm-hmm. And now just to that growth. It's, for me, it's so crazy going back, like just before my breakup, we're talking about all kinds of fun stuff. And then all of a sudden, whoosh.
Oh yeah.
That just dropped out of nowhere. I'm just like, what the hell? But there were things that I was doing too, that she shined a light on in that breakup, that I have since righted for myself, if only just for myself. I'm happy that those were exposed to me so I could be aware and be different at that point.
I have a question about that, because you keep telling me that she had like final words out the door to try to hurt you. Right?
There was a letter that I read once and then threw it away. Yeah. Okay. I was like,
but you felt like she was intentionally trying to hurt you about like character defects or something. Like she pointed out stuff about you that you're like, oh, like
I spoke about that in therapy today too, actually.
Okay. Now, all this time later, it's been how many months since you guys broke up?
Say it was December.
So 4 months, 4.5, 5 months, whatever. And looking back on those things that she said, do you feel like they were valid and there were things you had to work on? Or, because I remember you saying like, am I that? Like, am I that? And I was like, yeah, I think you are. And then you were like, oh, like, I don't know. And then you were like, oh, like, Am I somebody who needs to work on that?
Oh, she rocked my foundation, made me question myself, like my self-worth. Like, am I a good person? All this other stuff.
Do you think she was trying to hurt you?
At this point, I don't have the letter in front of me, and I read it once. And I was complete shock. And then I was like, I'm not reading this crap after that. And like, immediately threw it away. I was like, I don't want to be reminded of this. But there were a couple of things in there. One was, which I know to be completely not me. One, and I've talked about this in therapy. I won't go into it here. But there was one thing that she said that made me question myself, my ability to connect, essentially.
Okay.
I overly connect. And deep, hard. I fall in love quick. And that's, she said something about not being able to connect because of whatever. And I questioned myself because of what she said. I internalized that. And after, the last 4.5 months, I know my own truth and can firmly say, no, I connect.
So, by the way, we covered this. So when you say the letter, you're talking about the letter that you talked about on the episode when she broke up, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
All right. So I'm just going to point down, and Matthew's going to edit the episode number right here. So I'm just going to just go to this episode number, and then we can have the Sesame Street character on either side just saying something.
It's a callback.
It's number 4.
Yep.
Yes. All my impressions are horrible today. All right. So that letter and that thing that you decided, like, you know what, maybe that is something that I can work on. Are there things in that letter that you've forgotten that were in there because you just read it once and then dumped it?
I'm sure I've forgotten some of it. The big one was I had to reevaluate my relationship with porn. That was the big one. And I realized that as an addict, that was something that I probably spent too much time on. And I can't remember now the last time that I checked out porn. I've thought about that in therapy today too.
You talked about that here too.
Yeah.
On the episode where you talked about the letter. You said that you needed to take a look at yourself.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time that I was browsing for that. There were times, in the past going down that loophole. I actually had a joke about it after the pandemic. I was like, did you realize that you could reach the end of Pornhub?
It's funny because you say that you had to stay away from porn, and I hate to bring up some self-awareness that you're lacking right now. But
no, you don't.
Chris has been producing porn in the last 24 hours that he's been posting on Instagram.
That's right.
So you actually have a photo, and I came across it. I was like scrolling through and going, "Whoa, that's my friend's titties."
Did it work though? Did it work there, Craig? Did you get a little tingle?
Well, you told me the numbers are already going way better.
That's why I'm showing this right now, because, like, generally speaking, I have like a certain amount of views on my stories. This one, 5 times the amount of views that I normally get. So this is going to be the thumbnail for this episode.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I was in the gym today, going to the shower, and I was like, damn, look at that vein on that. It's my left shoulder, but in the picture, it looks like it's on the right. Yeah, just saw that, and I was like, man, I look really good. I'm very proud of the work right there. Proof of the work done since December, this breakup. I've really focused on bettering things that I didn't like about myself. One of the things that I held on to for a long time was I had like a fluff in the middle that I was not comfortable with. I've always been strong as shit, but like I always ate whatever I wanted and then worked out so I could continue eating whatever I wanted. But now dialing that in, and fellas, I'll be on OnlyFans this weekend, releasing this Friday. There.
How about a caption contest for this picture? Chris Kael, shown here playing Guess Who's the Hooker game.
That's right.
Chris Kael here, seeing Craig's penis for the first time. Chris Kael here.
For the ladies and some of the fellas too. That's okay.
Let's have a caption contest.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Go into the comments down below on this video. Or if you're listening online at any of your platforms you're listening to the podcast at, go find this picture and then send us a caption for this picture.
And ladies, if you're handling business after watching this, go ahead and send that to the DMs. Actually, no, I'm staying away from all that. I don't want anything. Except maybe dudes, because it'd be funny.
If you're
tribute pictures from dudes.
If you're into Beardo porn,
I just opened up myself to a hell.
Good Lord.
That's right. That's what you said when you first saw that picture. Good Lord.
So
hell is working out.
One of the benchmarks we've come up with here is Chris is pissed.
Chris is pissed.
I am pissed off about Sierra Nevada Health.
Okay.
Insurance company. Luigi, I get it. I get it now. And just on a small scale, I went to go get a prescription the other day. I travel all the time for work.
Mm-hmm.
So my doctor will give me 90-day prescriptions versus 30-day prescriptions.
Okay. Same.
Sierra Nevada Health, you fucking cocksuckers, went against my doctor's prescription.
Really?
Limited me to 30 days.
Is this for any kind of like a painkiller kind of thing? Or
no, it's for blood pressure. Yeah.
They wouldn't give you blood pressure?
Wouldn't give you, blood pressure medicine, only 30 days.
Wow.
I don't know if they are trying to make sure that I'm paying my $600 fucking a month for a single mail for insurance.
Same.
Yeah, it's stupid. Absolutely stupid. So we're paying that amount of money. The doctor writes a prescription for 90 days.
Mm-hmm.
The healthcare provider decides, nope, the doctor doesn't know what he's doing. That made me so mad. And it made me mad for other people as well. Like I can make a phone call. I'm fine. The money's not bad. I'm not affected. But other people paying these ridiculous insurance premiums, fucking do your job. The doctor,
that is they
overrode, and this is just on a prescription. I can't imagine if I went in there wanting surgery or something, and the doctor, hey, I need to do the surgery. Insurance was like, I don't know. I mean, let's reevaluate this for our shareholders. Fuck off.
It's crazy, man. That the whole thing, everything for all of us as Americans, it's not like this in any other first world countries. Yep. We don't have these kind of like massive complications, this massive machine that we have to navigate, where everything's driven by cost. It's the business model it's privatized, and people are just like that. Who's that guy that jacked up the prices for cancer medicine?
I know you're talking about Skrillex or Cocksucker. That's his name.
Yeah, dude.
I think he worked for Sierra Nevada Health.
I saw him.
Allegedly. I don't want to get sued.
He got out
because I know you all are like that. You got to get your money.
That guy got out of prison and was still defending how he needed to make a profit for that.
Yeah.
And he tried to justify it, and it's crazy.
Absolutely.
It's a mess, dude. Any small thing I got to deal with, any moderate thing I got to deal with, it's just the whole system is really, really bad. And there were promises. The guy who's the president now said that he had a health plan 10 years ago. And when he was about to come into office, he was asked at a debate, like, what's the deal with that health plan? And he said, well, we have ideas for it. And it's like, dude, you've been like, man, come on, dude. I mean, talk to friends in Canada. Dude, when I was in Australia, I couldn't believe how people were getting treated in Australia.
How do you mean? Because I had a good experience in Australia.
Yeah, the healthcare.
Yeah.
I'm saying the healthcare was amazing.
So it was a positive one for you.
Dude, not just healthcare. It was
people say this is the greatest country on earth.
Right.
Those people that say that have never been anywhere else.
Outside of the country.
Most of those people have never left their hometown.
Yes. Dude, when I was in Australia, Pearl Jam was in.
Now I'm getting mad.
Pearl Jam was in Sydney when I was there. I brought my ex with me. I wanted her to meet my buddy Mike, and we went to the Pearl Jam shows. And you always laugh when I do like my buddy Mike.
Oh no, I was thinking of something else.
But going to the concert, we decided to go to the train station. And it's like, all right, fuck it. We're out of time. And we're having a tough time getting an Uber. The train station is 3 blocks away. Let's just go to the train station. And apparently you can take one train to the stadium where Pearl Jam's at. So we go to the train station, and I said, hi. I go up to the box office. I go, I need to get 2 tickets to go to the stadium for the concert. And she goes, yes, just go down and follow to track number 8. And I said, okay, all right. And I start walking away. And she said, did you buy tickets? And I go, she said, go to track 8. And then I don't see any box office at track 8. And I go, wait, hold on. I go, excuse me. And then I ask an employee, I need to get tickets to go to the Pearl Jam concert. And he goes, oh, just go to track 8. And I go, okay, but I need a ticket. And he goes, yeah, track 8. And I go, but I haven't bought a ticket. I don't have a ticket to get on the train. And he goes, it's free.
Yep.
And I said, it's free.
You hear that, America?
He said,
they're not everybody's trying to take your money.
He said,
ridiculous.
I go, it's free. And the guy goes, yeah, it's a concert.
Mm-hmm.
I said, so no charge at all? And he goes, No, it's a concert.
It makes no sense to us as Americans.
He said they don't charge for concerts.
Yeah. Well, here in America, going to that concert, there's a surge price.
Oh, dude. Surge price on parking. Like, dude.
Bring back the guillotine.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
By the way.
Free Luigi.
It wasn't just concerts. It's sporting events when they have any kind of massive sporting event, like anything where there's going to be thousands of people getting together.
Something that's not going to congest the road to there.
Get a free ride.
Anything they can do to eliminate that pain in the ass. It's crazy. Yeah. Oh, don't get me started. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to announce that I, Chris Kael, will be running for something in 2028. So be ready.
In Australia. Yeah, I had... It was such a weird experience. Did you know that about Australia, by the way, that it's all free transportation for concerts?
I didn't know about the transportation, but we were on tour, I think during the Soundwave Festival, and I scratched my eye somehow. I think it was on my wristband, like on stage. Like it had a printing, like a raised patch or something on there. And I wiped my eye and cut my eye. So I had to go to the emergency room in Sydney, I think it was. It was Sydney or Melbourne. It's one of the two. And you know how much it cost me? Out of pocket, with no insurance in Australia, for an emergency room, cutting my eye.
Wait a minute. You didn't travel with insurance? You didn't get... Because I did it my first arena tour last year with Russell Peters. And I got all these forms for travel insurance.
Right. See, that would require communication from the top to let you know that you need that. And it's a long history of... This is why when people ask me stuff, I'm like, I play bass. I don't find out anything.
Okay. Out of pocket, what did the cost?
Look at me getting mad again. Yeah. See, Craig, damn it. I'm trying to work on this. So out of pocket, $17.
Really?
$17 US for an emergency trip to the ER. Included the eye drops that I had to take. $17. No insurance, no nothing. Being out of a resident of the United States in Australia, and it cost me $17 for an emergency visit to get my eye fixed.
Gary Dell'Abate on the Howard Stern show has a story about visiting Italy and one of his sons getting sick or having some kind of a medical emergency at 2:00 in the morning. And they made phone calls. They were advised to call whatever number, and a doctor came to where they were staying, fixed the kid up, and left, no charge.
House calls.
Yeah.
Free house calls.
It was crazy.
So something needs to be done. It's hard to fight against the amount of money that those people are making. The
biggest thing is get outside of this country. Go see for yourself.
Yes. Travel.
Yeah.
It's amazing how small this world really is.
Yeah.
I mean, for instance, when we played Moscow, I remember watching, and it's a different situation now, but actually I can't even say that. I don't know about on the ground. I know governments against governments, but on the ground, I was in the center of Red Square in the middle of December. And I remember thinking man, I remember in junior high seeing tanks roll through this thing and just how scared we were of Moscow. Yes. And the people on the ground were super excited to see us. They're loving heavy metal. It was like a whole different vibe. It's the people at the top.
Yeah.
We on the ground, we just want to be loved. We want to be fed. We want to be housed. We want to be able to pursue our interests. It's the people up top. Bring back the guillotine. Chris Kael said it. Quote me. I'll be in jail next week.
Steve Gorman, the drummer of the Black Crowes, told me something about Russia that blew my mind. Steve Gorman is now the morning guy at KQ in Minneapolis. And he had me in the studio. We ended up talking for a while. We had just a great conversation on the air and off the air. But I remember he started telling me about that massive concert, that free concert for the kids of Russia that was Metallica, AC/DC, Pantera, Black Crowes, and I think one other artist I can't think of. And Steve Gorman told me something that blew my mind. He said, for that show, in order for us to pull off that show, it's a little known secret that they have awful infrastructure in Russia and all the highways are all fucked up and broken down.
Worst traffic I've ever been in my life. Moscow.
Really?
It is insane.
But what he was saying is that the not the interstates, but the highways that connect all the cities throughout Russia are all poorly managed, so that to the point that if they were to drive the trucks across Russia to get them in, it would damage all the equipment because the roads were that bad.
Yeah.
And he said what we had to do is they brought us fighter planes from Russia, and we loaded 18-wheelers onto the fighter planes. And that's how we shipped all the equipment over. Is we actually loaded 18-wheelers onto the fighter planes.
They're probably the big cargo planes.
Yes.
Yeah. And I can't imagine an 18-wheeler fitting on a fighter plane.
Oh, that's true. Okay, you know what? Cargo planes. Yeah, sorry, but I'm wrong. You're right.
We're comedians and musicians.
Yeah.
We don't know.
So, I actually don't know anything about anything. And that'd be a great soundbite. But
we are passionate about it.
Yeah. But that's how they got all the equipment out to Russia for that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what every band did. And that was just fucking fascinating to me. Same thing for you when you played in Russia. You had to have all the stuff flown in.
I think
you really do play bass.
I was thinking that I think we had to pay a bunch of bribes to get our stuff out of there, actually.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah. I'm almost positive that's where it was.
Wow. But I'm saying
we got held up forever at that airport.
But I'm saying, how did it get in and out? How did the equipment get in and out?
I play bass, Craig.
That's what I'm asking, though. That's what I'm asking is, how did the equipment, do you know if it got flown in?
Oh, for sure.
On cargo planes. Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not the Black Crows, so we didn't get military escorts into Russia.
Yeah.
Steve Gorman.
Yeah. But dude, it's just crazy. You got to get out and travel. You have to see other parts of the world and just see how much better things are done at certain things. You can kind of piecemeal how certain people live in other countries that we should be doing here, where we should be the greatest country in the world for everything.
And not even that, just the fact that the places that we're scared of, collectively as Americans, we're like, oh, I don't want to go there. The people on the ground are wonderful. It's all the fighting and the positioning up top. It's got nothing to do with the people. The people are all the same.
You know, I thought was a really interesting perspective. I did some shows doing stand-up opening for the Struts. And the singer of the Struts, I heard him doing an interview, and the person said, what is really unique about America that you've noticed since you've been here? And he said, you're always being advertised. He said, I cannot believe how overwhelming the advertising is in this country.
Absolutely.
That you don't even notice it.
Yeah. And
he was saying, I'm coming from England. You're advertising here. You're constantly being sold stuff.
Yeah. Billboards everywhere. Yeah. Every highway. You're going to a gas station 300 miles away. Hey, stop at Rock City. Rock City coming up. Here comes Rock City again. It's like, oh my God, yeah.
You know what? I even noticed that when I'm in Canada, that there are things that are just free in Canada that I'm like I get off a plane and I
penicillin shots.
I see a cart, like a cart, like a luggage cart.
Oh yeah.
And
you didn't have to spend the $5.
I don't have to spend $5, and I'm like, they're just giving them away, and it's like, well, yeah, you need them. Well, I know, but when you need something in America, people try to make money off that. It's crazy.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely nuts how predatory this country is.
Yep. And like, this is not a political issue. I'm not left. I'm not right. I don't give a damn about either of them. Nobody, the best and the brightest don't go into politics. They go into business. People who want the access, who don't know what the hell they're doing, go into politics and then get bought by the people in business because the business people are smarter than them.
Yeah.
It takes a certain type of asshole to run for office. Reminding you, Chris Kael, 2028.
By the way, I got a funny story I was thinking about when I do an impression of Matthew, which is like, I did the low-key impression of Matthew going like, asking for money. Hey, Craig, yeah, just want to let you know I still need to get the money for the show. And I'm like, oh yeah, for sure.
Is this a good one?
Yeah.
Is he nailing it, Matt?
So that's the impression I heard a couple episodes, the low-key rent is due voice. Matthew, when we had that Bert Kreisher episode with the Bert Kreischer intervention, I was making notes on stuff and I go, hey, can we do you mind if we go pull this, and this? And you spelled Bert's name wrong.
I remember that. And that was great.
And he goes,
because I even had to Google Kreischer. I was like, it's spelled right. Well, same thing. I was like, he spelled it right. I don't get it. What
I said was, you spelled Bert's name wrong. And he wrote me back and said, hey, Craig, took care of that. Also, according to Google, it's Kreischer. Yep.
And that's what I thought. Yeah, he's right.
And I replied, you spelled Bert with you.
I missed it too. I didn't even see it.
And like an hour later, he sent me a highlight video where Bert's name is misspelled 15 times in the video. And I was like, you know what? This actually will make a good story.
Oh, yeah.
Let's just keep
He understands content. He understands what drives people to see that content. And that's why we come here to Podcaster Studios here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Speaking of people being afraid of stuff and having preconceived ideas and notions about different places, people have that about Vegas too. Oh my God, how do you live there? Do you live in one of the casinos? I mean, you do, but
I do.
Yeah,
I live in the casinos.
Yeah. As I said, I was like, well, hold on. I'm negating my own the theory here.
So weird. I always see Craig in his pajamas drinking a Starbucks.
And all we're carrying tampons. I don't get it. It's another callback episode.
Ding.
Matt's pissed. He's got to do all kinds of extra shit on this episode.
Yeah, we're being a couple of assholes.
Yeah, we're really getting our money's worth.
We're
today.
doing impressions of him and making jokes about him.
With him right here in the room.
Right next to us.
See, I would apologize, but we understand content too, Matt, and this is funny.
If it wasn't for Matthew, none of these things would be possible. So
absolutely, and Matthew. It would not look nearly as good and be delivered on time because what time did you show up today, Craig?
I showed up 5 minutes late.
I was 5 minutes early, which is crazy for me. But
and you sat in the car outside.
Yeah, I wanted to make an entrance with you. That's what we do. We're a team.
You wanted to walk in and point and go, this fucking asshole.
I mean, I think I've got 3 or 4 episodes of me recording. Yep, Craig's late again. Just waiting. Oh, so, hey, look who showed up.
So you were saying people have misconceptions about Vegas.
Yeah.
And they think like, oh man, you guys like, they think that it's wild casino action and hookers all the time. Like
for that strip.
That's where everybody lives. That is on the strip.
Yeah. But if you get outside of that, it's much like any other city. Pre-COVID, everything was open 24 hours, even outside in like, where I live. My address is. But yeah, people just assume that it's always this crazy.
When you said that, and this is where I live, you just put Craig's house. Craig's Casino.
New York.
Yep. Excalibur, baby.
Yep. That's right.
Living the high life.
Taking the inclinator. It's not an elevator. It's an inclinator.
That's at the Luxor.
What? Oh, you Excalibur. It's all the same.
It's all the same. Yeah. But yeah, dude, people definitely have misconceptions about it. You know what's weird is I never noticed, like one of my favorite games is to play Guess Who's the Hooker?
Yes, you were.
Everybody's got an opinion about how you spot a hooker. And to me, the most obvious giveaway of guess who the hooker is, old guy, very young, attractive girl. That's the biggest giveaway.
They could be a musician.
Great point.
Yep.
Great point.
Here's where we'll put a picture of me and my girlfriend from a couple of girlfriends ago. So speaking of that, oh my God. I was dating a 25-year-old because I had issues with my own self-worth and I needed something shiny, happy, and new to make myself feel better. She was a wonderful person, so I can't say it's all about that. But I had taken her to a University of Kentucky basketball game.
Is this a girl that I knew?
Yeah, know. Yep. Right.
By the way, if I was going to, just a side note, if I was going to draw with crayons any of Chris's girlfriend, I know the first color crayon I would start with. But go ahead.
Insert a gong right here.
Chris has a type.
Yep. I don't date white, period.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
But I'm open to it.
Yeah.
Not right now, so but at December of this year, I'm going to open myself up. But for one full year, I'm working on myself.
So the crayon that I know I'm going to start with, you take her to a Kentucky game.
I do. Okay. And we're sitting at the game and fans are coming up saying hi, cool, whatever. Nice. The next day, I had a meet and greet because we were playing Cincinnati. This gentleman had bought my base package and he bought it for his son. So they show up and it's like, hey man, I saw you at the game. Was that your daughter you were with?
Oof.
that got me. Then that was one of those things like shining the light. And I was aware. I was like, oh, that's not a good look.
Wow.
Yeah. Wonderful human being, but certainly not age appropriate. I was 47 or 48 at that point, I think.
Not this ex that I'm struggling with right now, but the ex before that, we were in it.
You mean the ex that you're making gains and new ground with? Not the one you're struggling with. The one that's your life is good.
2 exes ago, I was in a shop, in a boutique and she was looking at clothes and stuff, and I was just hanging out with her, just wait, because I'm not big on shopping. And then at some point, a salesperson walked up and was talking to her first, and then walked up to me and said, "Are you looking to get something for your daughter?" And I went, "What?"
Yep.
And the way I said what, the look on her face was, "Oh my God, are you fucking her?" Like, I was like, she's only 10 years younger than me. Like,
Yeah. See, Ayla was smoking hot. So that dude, once he realized it was my daughter, I'm sure he got it.
yeah.
Don't be mad because you can't do it. All right.
Dude,
I'm incredibly charming. It ain't got shit to do with looks. I'm very charming. I'm very loving, very caring. I connect. And there you go, ladies. Right there. There's my job application.
He is the walrus. Cuckoo, ka-choo. Cuckoo, ka-choo.
You see my face. Even as I'm taking that picture, I know that thing's ridiculous.
Enter the caption contest, Beardo, Weirdo, and come up with the best. I'll tell you what, you come up with the best caption for that, we'll send you a free Beardo and Weirdo t-shirt, which we have now. We
do.
We got Beardo and Weirdo t-shirts, and we are going to be setting up to be able to sell them to you online.
Absolutely.
Beardo and Weirdo t-shirts.
Is it DIY? Yeah, DIY. We are DIY. We're not hiring people out to do this. Craig and I are very actively involved in all things hands-on. And I got to get a P.O. box instead of keep on putting my damn house address on there.
Yeah, it's kind of a weird thing about giving out your personal information.
They don't want to come over there. Trust me. You don't want to show up at my front door.
Before we go,
you've seen us. You know our band. You don't want to show up at my front door unannounced.
Dude, I'm excited for us to perform in Maryland together the night before that big festival for the Boardwalk Rock Fest that Def Leppard and Alice in Chains and Nickelback and Alice Cooper, a bunch of friends of ours are going to be at.
Absolutely. And you made it into my gratitude list today because of Kerry King coming in yesterday. I am grateful for the Rolodex that you have, the connections that you've made.
Mm-hmm. It was crazy.
And all the friends you've got. I mean, because everybody loves you. You know everybody. Much like myself. I mean, there's not too many people that are not fans of us who know us, personally.
Mm-hmm.
And thank you for doing this with me and allowing me the shock that you will see,
dude,
on that last episode.
Dude, when Kerry King walked in, it was like, "Oh man, what the fuck are you doing here?" And I was like, we weren't even, all right, sit down. And then my mind just started spinning, and I was like, all right, this just opened the door for me to not only share stories I've never shared about that guy, but also to ask him questions in this setting that are appropriate, that are not appropriate for dinner, not appropriate for like we're just hanging out after a Slayer show backstage. It's just like we're hanging. And I'm like, what's it like from your point of view for A, B, and C? And man, he gave us so much, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
and one story that I didn't share because I was in awe that he was here was one time in Europe, I got to drink with Kerry King. Kerry can handle his alcohol. I, however, cannot. I remember I was drinking Jaeger. Somebody had said something that made me mad earlier in the day. That's usually how things go. And I was drinking Jägermeister with him at this festival that we were playing. I didn't have enough alcohol in my system to pass out, and I needed to pass out because I was angry. So I then drank an entire bottle of Jack Daniels and then moved on to Captain Morgan after finishing that.
Wow.
And then when I got to the bus, they had to restrain me because I was threatening to fight my entire band.
Really? Do you even remember about what?
And people who know Five Finger Death Punch, Zoltan is in this band. The hell am I thinking? Yeah. You've seen his fight.
Dude, he's a mixed martial. Oh,
dude, he's like a black belt in 3 different disciplines. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And here I am.
Thanks to Kerry King.
I remember because I train Muay Thai and my knees are brutal. You don't want to catch a knee from me.
Okay.
I remember Pierre, our assistant, was there.
Yeah.
I was like, Pierre, right here. Anybody can get it. Everybody on that bus.
Oh,
this
no.
knee, one knee for all.
Oh, no.
So I'll send Matt the picture right now where he can put it up right there. And every time Pierre sees
I don't know what the name of this episode is going to be, but I know the next one's going to be called Matt Quit.
Matt just upped his rates just for us.
Yeah.
But Pierre, every time I see him now, we have this running joke where he'll kiss my knee out of respect because that one time. One knee for all. Yep, I've got it. Every time we see each other.
Oh, that's
what we do. He used to, there was one part when we're playing Bad Company on stage. I would go back next to my bass amp and I'd be playing and I'd just stick my knee out. He'd come over to the side kiss my knee and go back. So people will probably see that and be like, what the fuck? What's happening there? Yep, it was my boyfriend. Yep.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I remember I was in Tokyo for the first time, and I went to Tokyo because
I would love it there.
I'm a Seattle Mariners fan. Oh, yeah. Because I'm a Seattle Mariners fan, and the Seattle Mariners were starting their season in Tokyo. It was going to be the last 2 games that Ichiro Suzuki was ever going to play. So I found an English-speaking comedy club in Tokyo, and I booked a show, and then I got a flight, and then I went out, and it just so happened this massive metal festival headlined by Judas Priest and Slayer were happening, and I was like, nice. Oh, cool. So I didn't reach out to Kerry. I reached out to Kerry's tour manager, and I was like, hey, man, I'm coming in. Do you like baseball? I can't. For some reason, I didn't think Kerry would have the patience for baseball. I know he's a football and a hockey fan. Mm-hmm. So I asked the tour manager, and at the baseball game, the tour manager said, hey, man, Kerry's got a favorite bar in Tokyo he always hangs out at. You should go hang out with him there tonight. And I go, I wouldn't do that. I mean, unless he invited me. And he goes, no, you should hang out with him. And I go, yeah, I wouldn't. And he goes, hold on, let me text him. And he goes, oh man, look at this. He goes, like all exclamation points. Oh shit, tell Craig to come hang out with me. Nice. And then he goes,
he's so approachable. He really is.
He goes, Kerry likes you. And I go, all right. So I went to this bar and I hung out with Kerry, and then a couple guys from Anthrax were there.
Were you drinking back then?
No. Okay, I was sipping root beer while Kerry was holding court. And I was like, yep. All right, Kerry, tell me another story about Slayer. And
were you like chasing the straw?
Yeah, I don't.
So anyway, tell me.
It all goes back to I'm like comedians for whatever reason. Everybody likes to have a comedian hang out, man. They like to have good energy around. So it's like athletes,
which is funny. No one comedians when they're not on stage want good energy with a comedian.
Oh, dude, I don't feel like a real comedian.
Same.
I don't feel because I'm always in a good mood.
Yeah,
and I like people.
Yeah,
most comedians don't like people. But I was saying about we're going to perform at the we're not performing at the Boardwalk Rock Fest. We have nothing to do with the Boardwalk Rock Fest. But
not yet.
If you're going to the Boardwalk Rock Fest in Ocean City, we're going to be performing in that town the night before the festival on that Friday night. Chris Kael and I are doing stand-up. Get your tickets at getgas.com. Get gas with 2 S's while I go to therapy and I work on myself. Yep. And I genuinely, from everything that I've realized about myself in the last however many hours since I've had this revelation that something's wrong with the way I'm looking at everything, I'm looking forward to diving in and looking at myself. And I've been asking people if they have a problem with me to say, hey, there's something I should work on. And that's a lot of humility to have to, but.
And there's the teaser for the next 3 episodes. I'm going to be telling Craig all the things that he needs to work on for 3 1-hour episodes coming up next on Beardo.
We're going to start out the next episode and be like, is there anything about me that bothers you? And all of a sudden I'm going to hear, Chris is pissed. Fuck you, Craig.
Yep. Actually, before we go, I want to share one more story about Kerry King that I wasn't able to because I was awestruck at that thing. Do I have time, Matt? Okay. So the first time that I met Kerry King, like we've got mutual friends and people would be like, dog, you got to meet Chris Kael. You guys would get along so well. And I'm like, I'm not going up to Kerry King. Like he's in Slayer. I'm the guy currently holding the bass in Death Punch. Mm-hmm. So it was me and Darren, my tech. We were at the Hard Rock in, I believe, Buenos Aires, Argentina.
Wow.
And we're sitting at the bar. There was we're playing festivals down there. So a lot of bands were in town. And the bartender goes, hey, do you know Kerry King? I go, I know of him, but I don't know him. They're like, oh, he's upstairs right now. I'll go, oh. In my head, I'm like, okay, I know he drinks Jägermeister. I go, can you send shots of Jägermeister to him and whoever he's hanging out with and just tell him it's from Chris from 5 Finger Death Punch. Get those sent up there. And then the bartender comes back and he said, hey, Kerry King said, tell Chris from 5 Finger Death Punch to come up here and drink these with me.
Nice.
Yeah. So we went up there and it was just like, I was such a huge fan of Slayer, particularly Rain and Blood. I mean, every year on that music recap on the social streaming platforms, it always, Rain and Blood, always top 5 every single year. Even now, like however many years it's been. So I'm a huge fan. I just remember going, okay, Kerry, so remember I was drinking. Kerry, so like when you guys wrote Rain and Blood, the record, did you know we were writing Rain and Blood? I was such a fanboy. I loved it.
Wow.
So, yeah. And I love that about myself, that I am in this big rock and roll band that's touring the world, and I'm still like awestruck by people like Kerry King. And yeah, I love music. I love being able to talk music. Same with comedy. You know, I'm meeting these comedians out there, and it's just so much fun just talking about the craft and behind the scenes.
But man, when you were sitting next to me and Kerry was sitting in that chair, I kept looking at you, and you were just like,
yep.
just sitting there. And I would pause a little bit, like, yeah, and guess I'm asking this one too. All right.
Do I even get credits on that episode?
Well,
I don't know.
Here's the crazy thing. I genuinely thought you just didn't know what to say at all. And then the very end of the episode, I go, all right, well, Brian, let's talk about where people can find you and find your book and find your podcast. And Kerry's like, I don't know where to find me because I'm not online. And I go, all right, well, thanks for coming in. And then you jumped in and said, I just want to say something.
Yep.
And you talked about discovering Slayer when you were a kid and how much it meant to you. And I was like, wow.
I was that nerd that bought the shirt before I even heard the band.
Really?
Yeah, because I loved that. It said, "Do you want to die?" Rain and blood on the back, and that Slayer pentagram logo. And I was like, yes. I was a church kid. And I wore the most ridiculous shirts to church just to be edgy. Yeah, Deicide, Slayer, all that stuff.
I told you when I was 14 years old, I had that Wasp t-shirt, and the back of the shirt said, I fuck like a beast. I was 14. I fuck like a beast. Like, come on, man.
Yep. A chihuahua.
Yeah. It was terrible. So where do people find you? Get your stuff?
ChrisKael.com for merch, packages, all that stuff. Have we decided where we're putting the Beardo and Weirdo shirts up for sale?
Not yet, but I'm sure if we go to your page, we can probably find a link.
I've got a big cartel
of drug dealers. Cartel.
Speaking of South America. No, I've got a big cartel storefront.
Okay.
I can put it in there. So most likely it's going to be on ChrisKael.com because Craig fronted the money to buy all the shirts.
That's right.
So now the least that I can do is package these things up. I remember I was talking to my therapist today. I was like, man, you know, I really want to sell these shirts, but I don't want to package this crap up. And then I just got to remember, hold on. You work 5 days this year.
Right.
Do it.
Yeah.
So that'll be my contribution. If you buy the shirts at ChrisKael.com, the Beardo and Weirdo shirts now available at ChrisKael.com, my DNA is going to be on there from touching it, and you can get my fingerprints. And
just like back in the day when Kiss would put their blood into the ink of the comic books,
there will be no blood.
There'll be some smudges on your t-shirts, and that will be Chris Kael smudge.
Probably residual pug hair from years ago still in there.
And you'll see me in Ocean City and back in Vegas for my residency and a whole bunch of dates. Sacramento, Tampa. Come see me on the road.
Yep.
Getgas.com. Get gas with 2 S's.
And there's been a lot of people chomping at the bit, wanting to see us live doing stand-up comedy. We are working on that right now.
We're going to have dates.
Yep.
We had one ready to go, and then there was a cancellation with Five Finger Death Punch. But next episode, you're going to hear some dates. Guarantee it. The next episode, you'll be hearing about brand new dates for Chris and I to do stand-up.
No. Remember, the next 3 episodes are me talking about the shit that you need to do, right?
Right. After I cry for 3 episodes, we're going to tell you about the new dates. Thanks for joining us.
There you go, Craig.